Hello and happy Tuesday. And as you know, Tuesday is reviews day, or at least that's what I'm trying to hold myself down to. And today I'm here to review The Queen of Summer's Twilight by Charles Vess. And I feel really bad doing this review because I wasn't a huge fan. My reading list is I do a ton of unboxings and I cannot read as fast as I unbox. So my reading list is huge. But this one, being the debut novel of Charles Vess, was one that I had to dive into right away. I jumped right to the top of my reading pile because it's his debut novel. I'm like, how can you not love that? And I love him as an artist. I still love him as an artist. Look at that cover. It has just an air of whimsy about it, which can be found in most of his works. And I am very excited to see what he's working on in the future. Right now he's working on the art for a Peter Pan compendium. It compiles both Peter Pan books by J.M. Barrie into a single volume by the Fine Press Conversation Tree Press. It's their flagship edition, the first book. I'm definitely buying a copy. Looks gorgeous. Can't wait for it. But like I said, this Queen of Summer's Twilight is his very first novel. I have the signed edition. I unboxed it a few weeks back and then dove right into reading it. Signed by Charles Vess there. There are no interior illustrations, which is not a problem. I mean, I think it being the remarkable artist that he is, I would have loved interior art, but I'm not going to complain that there's not interior art. And there's kind of a little, kind of like a frontispiece, which kind of is ghosted on the header of every chapter. There you have Janet riding her motorcycle kind of across the land of Fae with the celestial bodies there. And like I said, that's kind of ghosted behind, kind of like watermarked, if you will, behind the header of each chapter. So the story is, I'm not going to lie, I am not familiar with the Ballad of Tam Fay. I'm not familiar with the Ballad of Tam Lin, which this is based on. But the story is about Janet Ravenscroft, a girl who does not know her mother. She's darker skinned in Scotland, which makes her stand out. And in his afterword, Charles Vess talks about how hesitant he was and how hesitant publishers were to publish a novel written by a white man about a story of a black girl. And as you could tell by my pasty white hands, I am white, so I can't really speak on it. I didn't find it offending, but I know that the publishers were kind of worried about that initially. But I mean, it's not, like him trying to do anything like racial or political with that at all. It's just, she's darker skinned, and it kind of comes with her from her mother. Her father, who's a wealthy white guy, kind of keeps her locked her away, kind of for her own safety. She's kind of a rebellious teenager, wanting to get away from her father, and the man that comes to her rescue is Tom Lin. I don't know if you didn't pick up the Tam Lin thing there. Man on a black motorbike who whisks her away and ends up protecting her from kind of the forces of evil as they cross worlds from the human world to the world of the Fae, back and forth several times throughout the novel, and he protects her from beasts. And I love the concept. The writing, and I hate saying negative things. The writing just didn't do it for me. Unfortunately, I think the actual grammatical sense of the novel, it could have used another run through. There were a couple instances with just some weird punctuation. You'll have starting open quotation marks, but you'll never have closing quotation marks where they should be, or you'll just have a couple dashes here and there in weird spots. But I can't criticize the book itself by that. It'd be nice to see like a future edition that fixes those. What I can criticize it for is some, God, again, I feel terrible saying it, but hey, I gotta do an honest review. Some of the characterization for the characters themselves, it's not quite there. I didn't really care for any of the characters. There are a couple scenes where you're supposed to have kind of like these emotional moments, including the death of some characters. I'm not spoiling who, not necessarily a major character, but moments along the way. It got no reaction from me. There were two parts, though, that I do need to share with you that did get a reaction from me. And this is not spoilers. This is just, I'm going to give you a brief, because this is really early on. This is page 46 and page 50 that I'm going to share with you. So let me set the scene. Janet is trying to run away from her father. She's already run away once, saved by Tom Lynn. Now she's back with her father. She runs away again. She's in a park, and in this park, she sees that she is being stalked by these strange black beasts, like giant black kind of creatures that no one else can see, like that are clearly there to cause some damage. And you'd think like, holy hell, I mean, she's run into a troll at this point, and she kind of takes it pretty well. And so she runs into these black creatures that nobody else can see. Tom scoots up on his motorcycle, saves the day, and like you think she'd be terrified, but she takes it surprisingly well. And so on the back of the motorcycle, she's kind of talking about her experiences, including some weird seizures she started having, how she's locked up in her father's house, like it's just a huge manor estate, and she doesn't feel like she has the freedom. And it ends with the line of, and she's talking about how I won't be allowed to live my own life or make my own mistakes, will I? Now, I will point out this is not an instance of it missing the closing quotation marks, because she is immediately starting back up with the conversation there. So I'm not referring to those kind of, because that's not a mistake. But the next line is, and that is maybe even more terrifying than those bloody creatures of yours, which is just such a weird thing to say. I think it is. Like, you just saw, like, mythical beasts that want to rip you to shreds, and now you're doing, like, this soliloquy about how, like, no, what's even worse than those creatures that want to rip you to shreds and want to kill me is that my dad doesn't let me think for myself, which is sad. It is sad, but is it more terrifying? I don't know. But then, and this was the part, and this, I'm not saying this is where I stopped reading. I read the whole novel. But this was like the cringiest. So just 4 pages later, 2 turns of the page later, on page 50, they're talking about the creatures again, and she has the thought, Tom just shrugs off these bloody nightmare creatures as casually as I go shopping, which is like, it makes me cringe. I mean, first of all, you literally just kind of shrugged them off 4 pages ago. You can't be discrediting Tom for shrugging off these creatures when you just did it 4 pages ago and said, hey, my dad locking me in the house is more scary than these creatures. You can't be like, oh, he just shrugs it off. And also, like, when your female character's, like, personification is that she likes shopping. You know, women like shopping. And it's like, hey, it's as casually as I go shopping. Like, I don't know. Maybe the female readers can speak out and be like, hey, what's your opinion on that? Like, I cringe on your behalf for that writing. And I feel bad for saying it. I love Charles Vess. Great artist. Oh my God, phenomenal. And, but yeah, the novel, it wasn't for me. It maybe if I read The Ballad of Tam Lin, it would be better, I guess. I don't know. Tam Lin, The Ballad of Tam Lin actually exists in the novel, which was interesting. You kind of got a little Inception thing. So, you know, the inspiration behind it actually exists as a song in there. It's kind of like when in Lovecraft Country, the series, the book Lovecraft Country popped up, you know, kind of like breaking the fourth wall there, I guess. But, yeah, like I said, I mean, I don't want to turn people away from this novel. If you're familiar with like Scottish heritage, Scottish folk tales, The Ballad of Tam Lin, maybe this is definitely the book for you. If you just want to support an amazing artist and, you know, help him with his first novel, then yeah, you should definitely buy it and check it out. Personally, I wasn't a huge fan. Like I said, it's not going to detract me from supporting. It's not going to deter me from supporting Charles Vess in the future. Like, I'm waiting for that that sweet Peter Pan pre-order so I can dive into that. But, you know, I have to give an honest review. If you watch this review, I know my reviews, my videos in general aren't very popular. My reviews even less so than my unboxings. But if you watch, thank you for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing. I'm going to try to keep doing reviews every Tuesday Reviews Day. And we'll see you around next time.